What a nice family you have here.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Vortex, the video Vortex. I'm Josh, and I'm joined here with Donny.
Nope.
And the Professor Smoak.
What's up?
We are from the All-American Spook Show podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, you should be able to hunt us down. We also put all of our episodes right here on the YouTube channel. So, if you don't feel like listening to it, you can kind of quote-unquote watch it / listen to it right here on the YouTube channel. We've got tons of other series to offer here on the YouTube channel, but this is one of our newer ones. So this is only the second edition of Video Vortex. And basically the premise of this is an opportunity for us to talk about movies that basically were released straight to video. And nowadays, it's a looser interpretation. It's not just VHS, it's movies that went straight to DVD. And nowadays you've got movies that go straight to streaming. So those all kind of fall under the umbrella of Video Vortex. So we really don't know where this is going to take us, every couple of months. We kind of rotate this series out with one of our other series here on the channel, the Spook Show Rewind. So you only get this one every 2 months, but this month we spun the wheel, and just by chance we landed on the sequel to a movie that we've already done over on one of our other YouTube series on Grindhouse Gutter. We first talked about Strike Commando from 1987. This is the sequel to that, cleverly named Strike Commando 2. It looked like pretty much all the same people are involved except for the actors, right? Like behind the scenes, it's still Bruno Mattei and all the rest, or some of the rest at least. But none of the actors return for this.
No, especially the main one, who's what's the new actor's name playing his character now is
Michael Ransom in this one is played by Brent Huff.
That's right, yeah, Brent Huff, and so he had to fill in the shoes of Reb Brown, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was his name. Yep. Who could forget the legendary name of Reb Brown? Somehow, I don't know how, but somehow they got Richard Harris to be in this movie.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. He's obviously the biggest name in this movie, and everybody knows him from, well, these days everybody knows him as Dumbledore, but I mean he's been a great actor going back to what, the 60s, 50s, whatever. I mean,
yeah.
So he must have really needed the money.
Yeah,
at the time.
You wouldn't think a movie like this would pay well, so I guess he needed some gas money or something. I don't know.
Or maybe he just wanted to be in the Philippines because that's where it was shot. Maybe he just wanted to go on location in the Philippines.
And it's not like a small throwaway part either. I mean, he's in the movie,
Yeah, main.
Yeah, he does well. It's not like he's completely just dialing it in either. I mean, he does, he does it like he would do any other movie he was in, I guess.
Damn it, Ransom! You always did have a heavy hand. Ruby. Jesus.
And really, just like the first one was as well, this is pretty much just a ripoff of other movies, right?
Yeah, well, really, the way I would, if you want a short order description of this movie, you could just say, if you've ever wanted to see Raiders of the Lost Ark, Rambo First Blood Part 2, Lethal Weapon, Predator, and maybe some other ones I'm not even sure that I caught all the references to, all crammed into one movie, but with a really small budget. Well, Strike Commando 2 is the movie for you, then.
That's really the only takeaway that you should have right there. That whole description, that's right.
It's about accurate.
Even down to like it was Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? Or Temple of Doom. I can't remember where the guy with the white suit and the small glasses.
Oh, that was Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay,
yeah,
I always get those two when thinking back.
Yeah, this guy even had the circular round glasses too. Yeah.
It's like
white suit, white hat.
Just take the semi-Nazi leader guy from that one, and then this,
Yeah, except in here, I think, because I don't know if I caught the year that this was supposed to be. I'm assuming it was supposed to be at the time, I guess the 80s, right, when it was made, came out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they ever put a direct time frame to it, but it came out in '88, so yeah, I'm assuming, yeah.
Well, that
So,
guy was
did they-
that guy was also Russian too. He wasn't like
yeah, that's what I was
German,
going to say. Isn't he KG? Didn't
Yeah.
they? I mean, maybe I'm just
KGB,
like
yeah.
confused just with another movie, but I thought they said he was KGB in this one, right?
Yeah.
The reason of your visit? You are Mr. Where the hell did he go?
That was one of the things that was missing from this one that you had in the first one was the Dakota guy, you know, and him.
Oh yeah, and actually,
Dakota.
Jacob. Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't have that. Now we did get a scene of just random M60 blowing up stuff, but that scene was, I don't know if that was an homage to the first Strike Commando or more so to Rambo First Blood Part 2 when Sylvester Stallone shoots up the place with the M60.
You know, they did that bit in the first Strike Commando though, like
Yeah.
when he
With
walks,
the hut.
he's mad and he just starts shooting like from Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Yeah.
They did the same thing again. They're just like, yeah, that worked so well in the first one. Let's do it again. Once again, the guy with the white suit, where he a few times in the movie he pulls the little wire from out, from his cuff,
Yeah.
and he strangles people with it. That first one with the guy on the train, he pulls the wire out, and then like, no, I did what you told me to, and then he just slowly moves toward him, and the guy's just.
And apparently everybody on that train's seen this millions of times before, I guess, or it's just normal.
Nobody
Because
tried
they
to
didn't
stop
have
him
to-
at all. It's like, oh, okay, yeah.
I don't even think they looked over there. This guy's begging for his life and screaming, and they're just like, I'm
They're
just
looking out the
reading the
window.
paper. I found his name, the character in this movie with the white suit. His name was Kramit.
Ram it.
How about the goofy ass music that plays a lot and very loudly? Especially the back half of the movie, once you get that relationship between Ransom and Rosanna.
Yeah.
That they have this weird comedic interplay, which doesn't have the same vibe as Harrison Ford and his lady in the Indiana Jones movies, but
Either of those two movies, yeah.
they
Marion
still,
or the other one.
yeah, Marion. they still try as best they can to kind of match it, but it doesn't. But every time they're doing something and they're kind of bickering back and forth like an old couple, and then they play that wah, 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 music. And it seems to play on an inappropriate loop too. Like it'll be playing in the middle of a battle, and then they're still playing this music.
Today's your lucky day. You're just made for Guangzhou.
The flow of this movie is kind of weird too, because it felt like at first it was going to be a little bit more serious.
Oh yeah.
It kind of felt it had that. All right, well maybe this is going to be a little bit more serious than the first one was, and then they throw in the whole Indiana Jones thing, and then it's like, all right, well this is just off the rails.
Yeah. Yes, at least the first movie didn't. I mean, yeah, you knew it was ripping off First Blood or ripping off Missing in Action, whatever. All these typical '80s action movies that it was playing off of, but it didn't do necessarily shot for shot remakes of the scenes like this one did.
So basically, our video Vortex rating, Smoak will give it out. It's 0 to 10. So if you've ever watched Grindhouse Gutter, it's very similar to that, except we don't give out like a separate rating. So it's just where do you feel this falls in the video category of like what we do here, like comparing it to other like titles. So the first one was Samurai Cop. So that kind of being the litmus test, the bar, so to speak. And also fairly comparing to the fact that we did do the first Strike Commando over on Grindhouse Gutter. Smoak, where do you think you're going to land on this one for the Vortex rating?
For me personally, it was I liked the first one a little better, mainly because also I like Reb Brown. I think he had a little bit more, I don't know what you want to call it, a bit more character, a bit more charisma, whatever it is. I liked him better in the main role. The movie itself held my attention a little bit more. Both movies are trash. They just are. They're Italian knockoffs. But I have an affinity for these trash action movies, as I think all of us do. And I would give this one in relation to that probably a 4, rather than first one is 6, and I'll give this one maybe a 4.
And you get the knockoff aspect of it too. You got that in the first one, and it was very evident there as well. But this one did seem a little more heavy-handed, right, Donnie?
Yeah, yeah. It just got to the point where the just the references were more entertaining to find than the actual movie was to watch.
Yeah.
You know?
Hard to argue that for sure. Like it becomes more of a where's Waldo of yeah, that reference and that reference, is, but it's not a parody either. You know what I mean? Like, it's weird in that way. Like, and I guess Smoke, a lot of these kind of Italian knockoffs from the 80s were that way. It's not like they were necessarily parodying them to poke fun at it or anything like that. They were literally like, oh, that's a good idea. Let's just take it.
Yeah. It was. I mean, maybe this movie is a bit more over the top in that direction than most of any of the other Italian action flicks. I mean, yeah, they would take sort of bits and pieces and kind of put it together in their own way. This one, like we mentioned, just takes these scenes from these other movies and just reenacts every bit of that scene exactly.
So, you don't really need to watch the first one to watch this one, but I think if you're going to pick between the two to enjoy one, you're probably going to enjoy the first one better. I think we all kind of agree on that. So, to that, we'll go ahead and tease what we're going to be doing on the next Video Vortex. Now, like I said off the top, we do these every 2 months. So we'll be in the month of June by the time we get to the next Vortex. And by the time we get to the month of June, we'll be in our big summer event. So we're going to go ahead and tell you now what it is. We're going to call it the Spook Show Summer Disaster. Now, the whole premise of this will be we're going to be watching disaster movies. Now, you think disaster movies, you think like natural disasters. Well, we'll have those. We're also going to have like monster, like kaiju, Godzilla type disasters. We're going to have end of the world plague type disasters and apocalyptic events and obviously natural disasters. Anything that would be considered like if these things really happened in real life, trust me, it would be a disaster. So we're throwing them all in there into the disaster stew. And of course, we're going to be hitting those on Video Vortex and on the Grindhouse Gutter series here on YouTube during the months of June, July, and August. So coming up in June, our third edition of Video Vortex, we're going to be watching Cruel Jaws from 1995. Now, it is kind of appropriate in the sense of like it's another sequel in a way, right? Like it's not a Jaws sequel, but it's still based on the work of Peter Benchley, who, that's where Jaws came from. So it's really kind of a cheap knockoff of the Jaws series, right, Smoke?
Yeah, you could basically say what Strike Commando is to Rambo First Blood Part 2 and Lethal Weapon and Raiders of the Lost Ark is what Cruel Jaws is to Jaws.
Yeah. And
also it happens to be, go ahead.
I was going to say the same thing you're about to say. Ironically, it is directed by Bruno Mattei.
Yeah.
Same guy that we just did. So apparently we have this thing where we just want to hurt ourselves and watch these Bruno Mattei.
Well, we spun a wheel though. I mean,
yeah, true. Yeah, it's luck
of the draw.
Yeah, luck of the draw, I guess, but still. So yeah, come back in June as far as Video Vortex is concerned, and that'll be right towards the beginning. That'll be one of the first things that happens during the Spook Show Summer Disaster. So it won't be the very beginning, but it'll be pretty close to the beginning because it'll be right off the beginning of June when that video debuts. So come back for that in June, and then keep an ear out and keep an eye out for everything that we're about to announce as far as the Spook Show Summer Disaster is concerned. We're going to be having a preview episode, basically spilling the tea, so to speak, on everything that we're going to be doing during the summer months on Memorial Day. Our Memorial Day episode will have it all. So, but yeah, stick here on the YouTube channel for all the other series, and you definitely want to keep your ears and eyes open for what's coming this summer. So for Will, who couldn't be with us, Donny, Professor Smoak, I'm Josh. We're from the All American Spook Show, and we'll talk to you next month.